Hello everyone, it's Cher coming at you. This case is of 58-year-old Sam Clark Jr. and his 28-year-old wife, Kimberly Nicole Perkins, which is a tragic and disturbing one.
He grabbed me around my throat and choked me and twisted my leg to where it almost broke, I'm telling you.
When that happened last week?
No, tonight. He put a gun to my head the other night. I'm not going to say nothing about that, but he put a loaded gun to my head and threatened to shoot me. And you know what? I wasn't scared.
6 months after this, Clark shot his wife twice in the back of the head, threw her off a bridge like trash, where she ultimately drowned. Clark returned where he had dumped her, and he, 1, made sure that she was dead, and 2, disposed of the gun he used to kill her with. Kimberly's body was found March 21st, 2016. He shot her on the Spillway Levee Bridge where he dumped her body. Her neighbors found her on their daily walks. This is what they said. Clark's arrest report said Kimberly told him she did not love him anymore and she was going to be moving to Livonia, Louisiana, and didn't want to have anything to do with him. Do you blame her? At trial, Clark successfully argued that he acted in sudden passion after learning that his wife was cheating on him and planned to leave him. This is so cliche, isn't it? They always say their reasons for murder is their wife was cheating. They always kind of say that. My last case said that, Waldrop case. He was saying that. They estranged them from family and friends so they have no one. Beat down the woman's self-esteem to where she is desperate to escape. Use the kids as blackmail. It's the same pattern of behavior. Anyway, the evidence presented at the trial clearly shows that Clark committed a heinous act of violence that resulted in the death of his wife. Clark's previous criminal record shows a concerning pattern. He had previously pled guilty to felony criminal damage to property in '82, and in 2000, he pled guilty to second-degree battery stemming from an incident with another individual. Additionally, he had a prior domestic violence conviction where he had originally been charged with domestic abuse by strangulation and domestic abuse by aggravated assault, but ultimately pled guilty to a misdemeanor domestic abuse battery. The victim in that case was also his wife, the video you saw earlier. He left 4 children without their mother. The sad thing about these victims are they knew this day was coming, but they didn't know how to get out. She had no help. Imagine if the laws were different in cases like this. Police were required to call, let's say, domestic violence organizations. They were involved like, CPS is for children due to the brainwashing and fear of the woman not making rational decisions. It's literally like Stockholm Syndrome. She would have had a team there to help her separate from her abuser. The fact that Mr. Clark went back to the bridge to dispose of the gun with which he had shot her with reinforces the severity of his actions. The trial court noted that he appeared to have gone back to make sure she was dead. The level of violence and premeditation in the act suggests that Clark did have control over his actions and was not acting out of sudden passion. They do that a lot. They get away with that a lot, too much. So he was telling her then that he was going to kill her.
He put a gun to my head the other night. I'm not going to say nothing about that, but he put a loaded gun to my head and threatened to shoot me. And you know what? I wasn't scared.
Despite these facts, Old Jr. appealed his sentence, arguing that his sentence was excessive. Bluntly, poor Jr. felt his sentence was cruel and unusual punishment, but not what he did to his wife. The old "she's dead and nothing you do to me will bring her back" thinking. The victim doesn't matter. She's dead. So, yeah. The court affirmed his conviction and sentenced him to 40 years at hard labor in the custody of Louisiana Department of Corrections, with credit for time served on November 13th, 2018. The court noted that Clark had received the benefit of being convicted for the lesser offense of manslaughter, which carries a significantly reduced sentencing exposure than the original charge of second-degree murder. It's understandable that individuals may be emotional and act impulsively in response to betrayal or infidelity in a relationship. However, the level of violence and premeditation demonstrated by Clark's actions can't be justified by any argument of sudden passion or lack of self-control. The justice system had a responsibility to hold individuals accountable for their actions, particularly in cases of violence against others. In this case, I don't feel justice was served with Clark's conviction and sentence, considering the severity of his actions and past criminal conduct. Clark was found guilty of manslaughter on September 26, 2018. It was November 13th, 2018, the trial court sentenced him to the 40 years of hard labor. We all know a 40-year conviction is not 40 years behind bars. According to Louisiana law, a first-time offender of violence will be eligible for parole upon serving 25% of the sentence imposed. That's 10 years. A second conviction of a crime of violence shall be eligible for parole consideration upon serving 75% of the sentence imposed. That's 30 years, which I highly doubt he will get with the thinking out there. That's any offense which would constitute a crime of violence as defined in the RS 142B, which his violent offenses are listed under. All we can hope is that they do Kimberly justice. Thank you so much for watching, and I would appreciate any support you could give my channel, likes, and subscribing, because I want to do many more of these. Thanks so much. I'll see you on the next one.